Hello, welcome to Business on Joy News Prime, the last edition for this year. Now, some 6 banks are reportedly expected to benefit from a 2 billion Ghana cedi bailout package as the deadline for recapitalization elapsed Monday. Now, according to Graphic Online, the package was hurriedly put together this month by government for the 6 banks, which are seen as well-governed, solvent, but unable to meet the 400 million new minimum capital. The Bank of Ghana is expected to announce the way forward on the 2nd of January next year. Economist Professor Godfrey Bokwing earlier reacted to this news on Joy News' 2018 Business Review program.
I think that for some of these banks that have survived up to today already suggests that they've been doing something slightly different from those that have gone under the water, and therefore perhaps they are alive to meet this intervention. Let me put it that way. I want to also believe that these indigenous banks, this won't be their first resort. This is almost like the last resort. They would prefer to be the 100% owner of that pie rather than perhaps, because this will also have ownership implications and all of that, management and all of that. So I want to believe that apart from that, I think that there is also that fear that if these indigenous banks didn't make it, and perhaps had to fold up, it's going to create a whole lot of political risk and all of that, employment, job losses.
Those issues came in the discussions, we understand the facts.
Yes, and all of that. Remember, even with UT Bank and Capital Bank, others felt that the government could have done something about it, and then all of that. The same thing with what Obama also went through with Lehman Brothers. They felt that, they could have acted a little and all of that. You see, because of the critical role that the banking industry plays, sometimes the level of intervention there may be slightly different from what it will happen with other industries.
Meanwhile, the November 2018 banking sector report by the Bank of Ghana shows all the key indicators of a strong banking sector are pointing in the right direction. It however knows banks are shying away from lending. There's more in this report.
The central bank's latest banking sector report shows that the sector has improved over the period under review, which is October 2017 to October 2018. The sector, as at October 2018, had 30 banks, 13 which were domestically controlled and 17 which were foreign controlled. The report observed a massive shift in banks' asset structure as they move away from lending to investments. This is as a result of the high non-performing loans in the country. Banks are taking the step to cut back on their losses as they reorganize. This has translated in contraction of lending by banks. The stock of non-performing loans in the banking industry declined by 14% compared with 27.2% growth a year ago. The banking industry's capital adequacy ratio increased to 20% in October 2018 from 18% in October 2017, signaling the industry's improving ability to absorb losses using its capital. This is expected to get better with the conclusion of banks' efforts to meet the minimum capital requirement. Overall, the key indicators show an improvement in the banking industry, and the regulator argues these indicators are expected to improve further on completion of the bank recapitalization process and together with ongoing reforms, including supervisory vigilance and strict enforcement of prudent regulations.
Some news from the banking sector still. United Bank for Africa, UBA Ghana Limited, has announced the appointment of renowned and experienced banker Isong Udom as new managing director. His appointment takes effect from January 1 next year. Mr. Udom replaces Abiola Bewa, who has been elevated to take up the role of Regional Chief Executive Officer.
The announcement of Isong Udom follows approval by the Bank of Ghana. The new managing director has over 30 years banking experience, having occupied many portfolios in the industry. This comes after Abiola Bewa was promoted to the regional level as a chief executive officer for the West African sub-region. Commenting on the appointment, Mrs. Bewa said, quote, "We are indeed privileged to have Isong take full role for the leadership and growth of UBA Ghana. He comes with a lot of experience and knowledge of the industry. Isong Isong has a deserved, enviable experience and track record in banking with key strengths in corporate and commercial banking, end quote. After graduating as the best student in his faculty with a BSc honor in Management Studies, Banking and Finance from the University of Calabar, Isong Udum attended a series of training programs. Before his appointment as MD of Ghana, he served as Deputy Managing Director of UBA Cameroon from 2011, where his hard work and dedication to excellence earned him the position of Managing Director or Chief Executive Officer of UBA Cameroon in 2014. Prior to this, he had worked in many capacities within the United Bank for Africa PLC.
All right, in other news tonight, government has been touting the economy's performance, highlighting the various policies it has implemented over the year. But what has been your experience? That is a question my colleagues Charles Aite and Sheila Tamaklo posed to a section of the public.
Where we have been sampling the views of some Ghanaians and even expatriates on what they think has been the challenge for them in the economic year of 2018. It has been a very interesting experience, getting to find most of them right. Well, it's bordering them on their minds on the very feasibility board that we have stationed here just in front of the Osu Oxford Street Mall. And my colleague Sheila Tamaklo has been helping us out with the scripting of everything here. She's going to be helping us with some of the things that most of these Ghanaians have been sharing with us and even expatriates in that regard. So, Sheila, we're here once again. You have been through it all, selling these people to write on the board to get to know what exactly their feelings are. Help us understand, what exactly have we been getting from them?
Okay, so Charles, you've been here with me, right? And the people have been giving us their very interesting opinions. The first one for me was quite interesting. Now, we had the lady come in and say everything, I think, was a challenge. Then a second guy comes in and also says everything. And they say unemployment, decision-making process, etc. For these individuals, they believe that basically everything in the economy was hard. The cost of living, the currency, the taxes that we had, the cost of tariffs, everything for them was quite high. And then we have another person who says businesses that help the economy grow had been abolished by government. Now, this person, I believe, is probably a Men's Gold customer, but she didn't want to specify. And they were citing an example of the Men's Gold incidents. For them, they believe that the institution was actually helping Ghanaians in terms of providing some financial support, with the dividends that we're getting. And now that the company is no more in existence, well, they think that government didn't do too well on that note. And so, Charles, what is your opinion about what you've also seen so far?
Well, one thing that caught my attention was this very one about, too many promises. And this was by a very young man who wrote this one down, and it brings to bear most of the issues that many people have been raising. Government comes in with several policies, economic regulations, whatnot, but they're just not feeling the impacts in their pocket. So you wouldn't be surprised to have such a gentleman like this one write too many promises as one of his main challenge when it comes to the economy of 2018. It's very clear, very, very clear from all these submissions on the board that generally speaking, Ghanaians, yes, might be feeling the impact of government's regulation, but they just hope that 2019 will be very much better when it comes to the effects that these regulations, these policies would have on their pockets.
And that's it for business. Happy New Year, everyone. See you in 2019.